To leave or not to leave? That is the question. I have left a number of teaching jobs in my career. Sometimes I've left for a promotion. Other times I've left because I didn't like the place I worked in, or I was looking for a change of scene. I've also got different jobs in my career. I can honestly look back and I can probably choose 2 schools that I've worked in where I didn't really have to leave. I was enjoying it there. I was relatively happy there. And I still chose to go. And actually, it was probably a mistake to go. I made the decisions on a variety of levels, whether that be professional but also personal. But in the end, the move did not pay off. Equally, I've moved into jobs where I've had a fantastic experience and it's been a really, really good move and a good decision. So this video in the course is all about to leave or not to leave and whether you should or you shouldn't do it. Because I know, particularly for international educators, this can get really obsessive. This can get really, really difficult because a lot of international schools want to know, and UK schools and American schools will want to know whether you're staying or going. And they will be pushing you for an answer, perhaps leading up to Christmas, perhaps after Christmas, January, February, March time. And they will want to know what your plans are. And it can often be incredibly stressful and difficult to make that decision. So the first question I would ask is, are you unhappy? Do you wake up in the morning to go to work with a funny feeling in your gut saying, I'm dreading today. I'm going to hate today. I'm not going to enjoy today. Do you more often wake up feeling that way? Because everybody's going to have a bad day at work. Everybody's going to have a day where they think, I can't be bothered and I can't do this. But it's the frequency of those days. And also it's what's making you dread it. Is it the job itself? Or is it something else? Is it the teaching in the classroom? Or is it something else? Because if it's the something else, then that's where I would be leaning towards leaving. If it's something that's happening in the classroom with the students, I might try and address that in maybe a slightly different way. To think about what specifically it is within your practice or within the atmosphere with the students in the classroom that's making you think that it's not working out and that you want to go. So the first thing is, are you unhappy? And again, a lot of people might be unhappy working with either a colleague or a manager. They might be being bullied. Are you being bullied? Because if you are, that's something to look at and challenge before you consider leaving the job. Because it might be that you can actually deal with that problem. That's one specific problem, the being bullied. If that's dealt with, perhaps you can enjoy the job. Again, some of the problems that are making you feel unhappy may seem unsurmountable, but when it comes down to it, there may be people already within your organization who are willing to help you deal with them. So that might be something to look at. Again, if it's a personal relationship issue, then how long is that issue going to go on for? Is it able to be tackled now? My second question, are you bored? How long have you been in your current school for? Are you bored or are you content and at peace? Because I think there's a thin line between the two. Because contentment can easily be mistaken for boredom. And I think making that mistake can be fatal. Because if you're somewhere where you're looked after by your leadership or by your colleagues, if you're somewhere that always has treated you fairly, and finally, if you're somewhere where you've built up a fantastic relationship with the students, then I would think long and hard about whether you want to leave that environment and whether leaving that environment is going to be good for you, both on a well-being level, but also on a professional level too. How often are you considering leaving? Is it obsessing you? Is it something that you can't stop thinking about? Is it something that's driving you mad, the yes or the no? That can be quite a good gauge as to whether you should leave, because if you're constantly thinking about it, it probably means that your body and your heart and your soul are saying you need to think about moving on at some point. because that obsession is probably not going to go away. It's probably going to carry on. Another one that I always like to think about is, are you after new opportunities? Does your current school challenge you professionally? Does it develop you professionally? Does it look after you professionally? Do you feel that you're progressing? Do you feel that you are learning new skills or having new experiences because of being in that school? I've worked in schools in my career where I've felt challenged at the right level. I've worked in schools in my career where I've felt too challenged. And I've also worked in at least one school where there's been very little challenge. It's been easy, but too easy. So it's working out where you're at on there, and also thinking how important that is, because going back to my first element, which was all about whether you're unhappy, if you're being bullied, or if the workload is too intense, or if something is really damaging your well-being on a daily basis, then I would say, okay, being a bit bored or being a bit under-challenged or undervalued or underappreciated is not perhaps as it's not putting your well-being at stake as much as that first one. So again, that's something to weigh up carefully when you're considering whether to stay or go. And sometimes once you've been through all of that, your answer is, well, actually, it's a tick in everything, but I still want to go. Sometimes you just want to go. There isn't an explanation for it, and there doesn't have to be. Big career move, you know, you're there, you're going to make that decision. Trust yourself, and even if it is a mistake, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to leave that next job and you're going to find another one, and you're going to keep searching. And I've had periods in my career where I've had to do that. I've had to accept, okay, this was a mistake that you made, but you're going to have more opportunities, and you're going to have more chances to put it right. So I guess it's being a little bit more relaxed maybe about it, if you're at that point where you're saying, I just want to leave and I just want to go.